Hello, we're here. We're ready to go. Sorry for running a little late. I was dealing with some more technical issues with SLOBS. Last week, I wasn't able to actually get the Facebook stream up and running, so I had to log out of everything and like resynchronize everything back up with Facebook. So we should now be live on Facebook and Twitch. Everything should be going, hopefully. But other than that, unless something happens and everything, like if rocks fall and everybody dies, we should be good to go. I will go in on Deafen and get everyone back into the game, make sure everything's looking good, which it is. Perfect. Let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect timing to unmute to just hear Dakota just going, fuck off in the background. I'm assuming he's playing Valhalla.
Yes, he is.
Yes,
I smoked for a good bit of the day.
Yeah, I figured he was playing Valhalla. I did see you guys in Contraband, like with him live streaming to Hawkeye and everyone like that. But yeah, how's everyone's week been? Everyone been good? No issues or anything like that crop up?
Working hard.
I will say, as next week, there is a solid chance that we might not be running because my manager has kind of shafted me and put me in a closing shift. So depending on the day, I might not actually be out of my work until like anywhere like close to 9 o'clock. So we'll either be running late or not running at all next week. I will say that.
Okay.
So we'll wait and see. I'll maybe speak to my colleagues about getting a shift swap so I can get out for like 4 or 7 or something like that. Maybe. We'll see. But unless anyone has anything they want to bring up before we start, we'll get the recap going and get started.
Cool.
All right. Cool. So, as you may recall, last week you guys had finally made the last stretch into Syngorn after defeating an ambush of demonic entities, Baelor, and several Shusuva just on the outskirts of Syngorn. Before you crossed the threshold to the marble white walls laced with emerald and jade throughout the city, and entered heading towards the what you now know as the Tarn Ward, where as you looked around and discovered where you were going to be staying for your first day within Syngorn, which was an inn called the Emerald Wain, you got into a little bit of trouble with a certain someone, definitely not trying to deface public property and steal the accents of gold from public property, Estari. Before you
Definitely wasn't me.
of course not. Before you all made your way into to the inn to prepare yourself for a long rest after having a almost deadly encounter with a Baelor and several Shusuva. Before you wake up either later on in the evening or the next morning, depending on how long you guys want to rest for, and continue on with your current mission of hopefully getting to speak to the ruler or whoever is in charge of Syngorn and hopefully get their aid for your final fight back in Akrai.
Yeah, I think Carolina kind of set something up at the end of last week. I was wondering how that went. I think she is too.
I cashed in my last favor of, all right, so my best friend and my beau are going to sit down and have a talk out because they fucking hate each other.
Yeah, there's that as well. I'd forgotten about that, I'm not going to lie. So, yes, Barclay and Neftari are about to talk out. Do I have any alcohol nearby?
We're gonna need it.
It's out of my reach, so I'm not gonna go grab some alcohol. Plus, alcohol and caffeine doesn't mix. So, yes, we will start off with that, as you have cashed in your last favor. You've sat Neftari down in your own dedicated room within your rented out mansion. And with a plume of brown smoke, the Barclay settles down on your shoulder as Neftari is before you. You have told them that they're going to talk this out. And with a grumble and a ruffle of his feathers, just Barclay just kind of looks away and is awkwardly silent. The tension in the room is very palpable.
Okay. I'm sorry about the cats.
Is that it? Is that all you're going to say?
Well, I mean, we should. She's right. We need to get on with each other. I mean, I love her, and I'm not going away, and I'm not going to make her send you away.
Oh, you wouldn't have the opportunity to do that. I would not be leaving her.
No.
Are you sure, Tim, my lady?
I mean, he saved my life before. He's also hasn't gone away to appear in one of my sister's beds. In addition, he's put up with a lot of your shit.
Oh.
You've thrown dead vermin at him.
He has unleashed deadly predators towards me. I would not say the two things are comparable.
And I'm sorry about those. It was just a joke. I didn't know you were.
Oh yes, it's such a joke to unleash violent predators in the room to hunt me down and potentially kill me. Even though I wouldn't really be killed.
You are a hawk. It's not like you're a little wren or something. I'm pretty sure you could handle a couple of cats. I mean, there were 16 of them, I think. But
yes, 16, and there was one of me. I may be a bird of prey, but I cannot take on 16 opponents at once. I would like to see you do that.
I could take on 32.
You could take on 32 opponents. Is that correct?
I mean, I reckon so.
I would like to see him try that.
I can't summon like 32.
I can't either.
Well, then you should be quiet. I do not know why you've set this up, my lady. This is not going to work. He is a... I promised I would not call him that, and I'm not going to.
Honestly, I thought it was going to go better than this. I really did. I'm still pouring out that bottle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, my lady. But I do not agree with his methods. I think he is something that I'm no longer allowed to say, and I will not say it because it is what you have asked of me.
Look, I'm willing to get on with you. How can I make it up to you? How can I make it better going forward?
You could not be an arsehole.
Let's not get hasty now.
Well, okay. What? No more cats? No, that's step one.
Perhaps one thing that you should also do is consider other people around you. One thing I have noticed about you is that your mouth works faster than your mind.
I have. Look, see. He throws a little the blue stone up, was it? And got the extra wisdom floating around. I've taken some steps to do that. I mean, ask me anything. And now, Neftari the Wise.
the both of you kind of like upon giving yourself that title, you both see a very blatant head and eye roll from Barclay. I can't say it. I cannot call him it.
I could get another one of these stones, and that would. I've been
Unfortunately for you, Ioun stones are quite difficult to come around, and I'm not sure if you can actually use multiple at the same time. But for you, I don't think it would make much of a difference. You are an imbecile after all.
Barkley,
Yes, lady.
you said it.
No, I did not. I called him an imbecile. You banished me from, banned me, sorry, from calling him a Neanderthal. Thank you very much.
It's still an insult, and he doesn't call you a pigeon anymore, so apologize.
He called me a Neanderthal?
Oh, yes, you weren't aware of that. Yes, I called you that numerous times.
Look, I'm a little hairy, okay? But I'm not a Neanderthal. It's something else.
You're extremely barbaric.
Well,
you do not consider other people when you open your mouth. You say and do things that insult the nearby public, your companions, your loved ones. The amount of times that I have had to listen to my lady almost cry her eyes out because you have said or done something that makes her question whether you are the one for her. He kind of like looks down at his talons and like lifts one of his little bird feet and shows it to you. I can count how many times, more times than I have toes.
In all honesty, Barkley, that's really not that difficult.
He
just kind of like leans over and looks at you like,
have a ton of them.
Bitch! How dare!
How dare?
How dare! Amazing. I may not have a lot of toes, but that is beside the point, my lady.
Is that true? Do I upset you so much that you cry your heart out to Sir Barkley?
I mean, Nethra, you gotta understand. Barkley's been my really only friend for years and years. So, yeah, when things bother me, I talk to him.
At that mention, Neftari, of like my only friend for years and years, you do see Barkley kind of ruffle up his feathers and stand up a bit straighter. Yes, very true, very true.
Sorry, I'm just a little basic. If you're reading things between the lines when I say them, I'm probably not actually meaning anything more than what I've said, basically.
I mean, there are some times where I do question some things.
Barkley kind of hops off your shoulder down onto the table between the two of you and kind of looks up to you, Coralina. Yes, please, tell him. Tell him how you really feel.
Why? I really like you. I think this is, you actually enjoy my magic and, what I do, and you don't think it's stupid. You're also not, asking me to, like, immediately give it up, should things change. And, I'm at the point where it's like, fuck my arrangement. Fuck whatever my father has to say. Should he find out? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah. and immediately just taking a large drink just to be like, okay, my mouth is occupied now, so I can't talk anymore. Ha.
Okay, well, I'm sorry if I upset you too.
I mean,
And that right there is why I tend to have a dislike for you, Neftari. I have been around numerous individuals who've done nothing but try and either use Coralina or have abused her trust and betrayed her feelings. I've seen that far too many times and I refuse to see it happen again. And I feel like you are on the verge of doing exactly that. I do not like people who take advantage of my lady. If you can guarantee me that you will not do such a thing in future, that even if you say something extremely stupid, that you have no ill intention about it, and that perhaps my lady is, and I do apologize when I say this, my lady, but if she is reading between the lines or picking up messages that aren't there, then I will do my utmost best to ensure that our I wouldn't go so far as to say friendship, but our companionship. Cohabitation. That is a very apt word, my lady. Our cohabitation is not filled with hostility. If you can guarantee that you will not break my lady's heart. Because if you do, I will do whatever I can to tear it out. Yours, that is, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's it's a little bit suicidal, Barkley. If anything happens to me, you go too. So.
Oh, that's actually not the case. I just return to being Fey energy. And someone else could potentially summon me if I'm chosen to be their familiar. But you, on the other hand, you would die. It would probably be a very painful death at that.
I mean, compared to the last couple of times where I've died, I mean.
But anyway, what say you, Neftari?
Yes, Carolina, I promise not to hurt you. Not intentionally, anyway.
Well, I guess we'll try to figure out how things work in the prime material, and if there's similarities to how things are done here versus in the Orin plate, I'm happy to hear him. You know,
Some what?
similarities, how things are alike.
Yeah, I think it's quite different here. There's not only sort of written arrangements and then basically selling your daughter as soon as she's born to the highest bidder or whatever.
Oh no, I had to make sure I survived first, so it wasn't at birth.
The most politically advantageous suitor.
Or if you owe somebody a favor.
Yeah. Oh, oh, thanks for that, dude. Here's my daughter.
I mean, yeah, if someone. Okay, so.
Remember
the reason I.
Lords and ladies.
I mean, yeah, if your dad rescues, for if like for example, one father rescues another father in war, then it's hey, I owe you. Oh, okay. Well, years go by. The guy that rescued you, he's got a son. So hey, here's my daughter to go with your son. There you go. And alliances are built that way.
Well, I have to ask Rick. He was a prince. He'll know more about that sort of thing.
Possibly, yeah. But I'm glad you two are at least gonna attempt to get along. It'd be better when you two aren't at each other's throats.
Better for us both. Better for all three of us.
Yep. So, is that it for us, DM?
Is that it for you guys?
I assume so.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Natari, you were going to go for a long rest like after this favor is cashed in, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. No, I was asking. You were, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was absolutely fucked in that last fight.
Yeah. You went through quite a bit. All right. Cool. Before we finish up with you guys, Coralina, could you go ahead and roll me a perception check, please?
Okay. Open up.
Oh, I need to fix that actually. This is gonna mess up a little bit on cameras and stuff, but there we go. That's where I want it to be. Much better.
All right, I got 8.
There we go. 8. Yeah, no, as you kind of glance around the other room and Barclay just kind of looks up to you with the like, wait, his face, his avian face isn't really, you can't really read any expression, but as Neth'Tari walks away, you're left to your own devices. You've got your own books. The bookcase that seems to be filled with blank books. It seems to only be for aesthetics. You are free to do anything you'd like before we conclude everyone's long rests and move on to the next step of the adventure.
Probably just a few hours of arcane study, and then to bed.
Okay. You only going to be reading your own books, or?
I was gonna be working at I believe it was a power word kill spell scroll. I won't be able to cast it or anything like that, but I'll be working on studying it for a few hours.
Okay.
And it's gonna take I think it's 2 hours per spell level, so that's 18 hours.
Oh, 16. Wait, oh yeah, it's a 9th level spell, so yeah, 18 hours. And it's a transmutation power word, isn't it? Or is it evocation?
I want to say it's evocation.
I can't remember what it is. I want to say it's evocation. But yeah, no, you're able to begin studying it and learning the somatic gestures and the glyphs that are required to actually cast the spell. Give me an Arcana check, actually.
Yeah.
With the 23, we'll say that will cut down your study time of the scroll once you actually have access to 9th level spells by 2 hours. So it'll take you 2 less hours to copy it down into your spell book once you're actually physically able to. So we'll take a note of that, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But other than that, is that going to be you before you go and take a long rest yourself?
Me before long rest. Yep.
All right, cool. With that in mind, everyone go ahead and roll your long rests on your character sheet. So you should all be full health, full spell slots, full feats, everything like that. All of your lay on hands and everything fully available to you. Once again, well, actually, I will actually go ahead and ask Neth'Tari Temple, and I know Carolina can still hear me, but she's dipped out for the time being. Are you guys going to long rest until the next morning, or do you want to wake up in the early hours of the evening? Since you got into Syngorn like just as it broke afternoon, you do still like taking a long rest is 8 hours, so it'd be like close to 8, 9 o'clock. Excuse me, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening when this long rest concludes. So you can either wake up then and go around Syngorn during the evening, or you can wait until. Say that again.
Alright, this city had a siesta and nobody did anything at midday, and then it woke up in the evening.
Well, it's not really a siesta, but yeah, most of the business that, as you were told, most of the businesses start later in the evening, and their work hours are more like 4 till midnight rather than like 9 till 5.
Yeah, it's weird because elves.
Yeah.
Night elves? Or just elves not being nocturnal?
Elves in general.
No, just elves in general.
Okay, well.
So for the three of you, because Victorious only needs his 4 hours meditation, for the three of you, since you're actually going, two of you are going to sleep, and one of you is just going going to sleep mode. I just need to I don't know, press a button and you'll wake up like a computer. Do you guys want to full rest until the next morning, or get up in the evening?
Temple after minimum required amount of sleep, because doesn't really have a good defensive plan inside of a Mordecai expansion. So Temple will go down to the bar and be a statue until everyone's around.
Okay. And Nastari and Carolina, what about you guys?
I mean, yeah, no shenanigans really popped up other than our sit down talk, I assume. And I also wasn't that banged up in the fight, so the morning would be okay for me.
And Nastari, do you want to get up during the evening, or just stay until morning?
Yeah, if this city is alive in the evening, then Nastari's still alive.
All right, cool. So you'll get Nastari, you'll get your long rest, and then wake up in the evening. Well, the way we'll kind of flavor this down, Carolina, is you kind of stay up conducting your arcane studies for your spell scroll, conversing with Barclay throughout the afternoon, making sure that Nethtar is able to actually get a decent amount of sleep, since he did take like a fair few hits during the demon attack before you made it into the town. And then now that once he wakes up, you will then go and try and get some rest yourself later on once you're sure that he's had a decent amount of sleep. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good to me.
All right, cool. So, as we normally do, we will start off with Victorious, because you only need your 4 hours of meditation. It is about 4 in the afternoon, 5 in the evening, when you finish up your meditation. You do have the entire city most of the city at your disposal. What would you like to do?
I'll spend a little bit of time just enjoying my surroundings. I've made myself a nice little grassy, trickling stream, chilled out kind of environment to rest in, knowing that the rest of the party are going to need more rest than I will. I'll give it a couple of hours and I'll make my way down into the public space. Wait to see who appears.
All right, cool. As you make your way down into the out of the kind of foyer to your mansion, out into the hallway at the top, like the first floor of this inn, and make your way downstairs. The inn itself is quite bustling. There's a lot of patrons dotted around. Kaere, who is the landlord, barkeep, is kind of not rushing around per se, but is looks to be quite busy as he's continuously serving more patrons, getting fresh drinks and taking orders from people as they come up to the bar. Then you do see some other elven individuals who seem to be adorned in like black suits or dresses, going from table to table, booth to booth, making sure that all of the patrons have been seen to. They seem to be employed by Kairi.
I guess I'll grab a drink, settle in for a while. We go disappearing off into the city. That was a bit of a mishap last time. So yeah, I guess I'll just be waiting, keeping an eye on who's coming and going.
Most of the traffic in and out of the city itself is mostly elven. You do see the odd human and half elf here and there as they come and go, but for the most part, there are purely elven individuals who are milling around. You do get a few drinks brought over to you by either Kairi or his underlings that are employed by him, and it gets to about 7 o'clock when most of the patrons actually start to file out of the inn and make their way out into the Tarn ward, where outside the door you can hear the hustle and bustle of a very active marketplace. But if you just stay there and continue waiting, it's about that time when Temple you would have finished your 6 hours mandatory rest, and it would have made your way down into the tavern proper, where you do spot Victoria sat at the bar, just kind of glancing around, keeping an eye on everyone as you make your way over.
Temple does his favorite thing, which is a stand.
What is your stand? Do you have to break a camera to activate it? That costs several thousand yen?
Several thousand yen. You can use a TV too. Anyway,
George's references gone. Fucking damn it. I've become what I hate.
You're making them now. I mean, we have to blame Kayla because she got us all enjoying that.
It's your fault, Kayla. It's all your fault. Wind out.
Good evening, Victor Alice.
Oh, Temple. Assumed you'd be up and about first.
How is the general threat assessment?
People seem to be coming and going about their business.
Anybody suspicious we should be concerned about?
Well, the way I feel about this place, everyone really, but I didn't want to go wandering off into the city alone. Giving me the creeps enough just being here.
And I would have had to come find you.
Yeah, we don't know where my father's eyes and ears end and begin, so...
DM Temple's going to have a look around for anyone suspicious who might be overly interested in us or overly not interested in us.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Yeah, because people have to stare a bit at a big suit of armor.
Which would be unusual, therefore, if someone was not at all interested in the nearly 7-foot-tall suit of armor.
21, as you kind of glance around, you do notice that a lot of people are taking interest in yourselves. Most of the elven individuals who are coming or going are very vibrant in their attire, long, flowing, well-kept blonde hair, like blonde, silver, or maybe like a light chocolatey brown colored hair as they go about their business. But anyone who comes in, they do give you a puzzling look initially before realization sinks in, and most of the time the glances actually land on Victorious. Like most of the elven populace kind of stops and looks over. You see a couple of people like leaning close, whisper. You maybe catch the odd point here or there, but they're mainly paying attention to Victorious more than yourself. But other than that, no single individual who's overly like staring you down or just blatantly disregarding you and that you see to be too suspicious anyway.
Fair enough. Temple will just the way Temple will stand and the distance at which Temple will stand would be as if he were the knight guarding the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone suddenly approaches Temple would go, "Hey, hang on."
Okay, yeah, you stand like within arm's reach to prevent anyone from like maybe laying hands on Victorious. Yeah. Other than that, unless there's anything else you two want to do, we'll move over to Neftari a couple hours later. All right, cool.
Go ahead. Yep, he will wake up. Is Cornelius awake or?
We'll say at this point, Carolina, you're just like you're still awake, but is getting to that stage where you know you're getting to the point where you're going to have to get some sleep here soon.
What? She's not.
But not yet.
Is Sir Barkley still around?
Is he?
I haven't dismissed him, so I just pointed up.
Yeah, so Barkley glancing following Corlina's point, you glance up and Barkley is just nestled up in the rafters overhead on the roof.
Oh, then Neftari's going to go over to Corlina and give her a big smooch.
I guess the rest of you some good.
Neftari does a 21 hit your armor class.
Don't. Oh yes, it does. 19 is my armor class.
Okay. As you kind of glance up, you do see Barkley kind of look down towards you guys, and as you then catch his attention, you lean in and give Corlina a big kiss, and as you kind of stand up straight and look up, looking proud of yourself, you just feel a little on your face. As Barkley has spun around and has shat on you.
Huh.
Terribly sorry, my lady. I didn't see him down there.
DM, did you roll a dice for a bad pooing?
Yes, I rolled the dice to see if the bird accurately shat on someone. Correct.
Do I take damage for that then?
No, you don't take damage. It's just to see if it hit you or not. I mean, Don't they say that it's good luck if a bird shits on you? Supposedly. But yes, you have a tiny little blob of Bloodhawk shit on your face as Barkley has just shat on you.
Then he's going to go downstairs and join them at the bar. With the shit still on his face.
And what were you doing there, Carolina?
I was just going to conjure like a little, like a napkin or something like
just,
that.
Just clean that shit off of Neftari's face.
Literally.
If the Bloodhawk is summoned and something... does its poop disappear when it takes damage?
Yes, it would.
Eat the poop.
The poop is not part of the Bloodhawk, therefore it wouldn't. He wouldn't disappear by doing that. He would literally just be eating bird shit.
I mean, it might have, magical properties. I can imagine it would.
Who knows? There might be a lot of protein in it.
No, if you don't try it, Neftari.
He's not going to eat that. He's not going to eat shit.
Yes,
He'll
I
eat
sincerely
humans
hope you
and
don't want to eat shit.
lick eyeballs and things, but he's not going to.
Please don't
Eat
eat
shit.
shit. All right, so you're going to make your way down to the bar, yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, cool. Some snakeskin in my dice tray. Princess shed recently. Speaking of, sorry, just checking on him because he was out and about earlier on. He knows when I'm talking about him because I just saw his little nose poke out of his cave as I say his name. Oh shit, he's a good boy. He's getting a lot bigger. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. As you like, after Carolina kind of wipes down your face and make your way out of your room, heading down out of the mansion. Sorry, downstairs. You reconvene with Victoria and Temple downstairs. Carolina, if you want to go with them, you won't be pushing a point of exhaustion. You know, you'll have been active the entire day. You won't have any of your like most of your spell slots or anything like that, since you haven't actually had your long rest yet.
We stayed up
Yeah,
all
that's-
time.
Yeah,
I mean, there was just some studying to do, so I mean, and I didn't want to just sleep through the entire day, so. Besides, you're not supposed to like get your schedule messed up. I'd done that once; it was terrible.
Okay. Neftari naps like a cat.
as often as possible.
It looks up the mention of the word.
Like the mention of cat. I mean, Barclay is just kind of like, you see him glance down to you. He looks up and stares away into space, and then you just see like a quick blur of brown as he turns around, and you just see his tail feathers kind of hovering over, like above your approximate location. All I need to do is squeeze, my lady. I am very accurate with my own droppings.
I understand that.
Hey, that won't be necessary. We're friends now. It's all
You
friends
can't
here now.
remember. You can no longer understand them because the spell
Oh, right.
wore off a long time ago.
This was only temporary.
Oh, okay, right, okay. Right. He's gonna make himself scarce, then away from
Alright.
the target area.
Carolina, you wanting to go with them, or do you?
Yeah, I'll go with them. But
Okay.
Barkley goes in the pocket dimension for right now because he's not
Okay.
behaving.
Just you're not going to shit on people, so boop, gone. All right, so you two make your way downstairs and reconvene with the rest of the party, and so you're all back together. The bar itself has kind of quietened down. A lot of the patrons have been have moved out into the Tarn ward proper. And like I said before, you can hear the hustle and bustle of a seemingly very active market outside.
Right. Well, I don't want to hang around this place too long unless we need to. Is there anything anyone needs to get done?
In here?
Yeah, I just wanted to look around a little bit. In the the ward, district and all that. But other than that, I'll be fine.
I suppose we'll head out and at least get our bearings.
I think we had quite a successful day yesterday. We successfully infiltrated the town without causing too much commotion, drawing too much attention to ourselves. And
Do you want to walk that one back?
well, it went about as well as could be expected, really.
You almost got arrested.
It does happen in most towns, really. It's drawing more attention to myself if we didn't get arrested. What are they hiding? Are they, you know,
We are hiding people, though, Neftari. Not. We don't want everyone to know. There are people after us that are bad.
We'll define here that it's elves here. Elves are all, good. Are they victorious?
You're including my father in this.
Well, no. I mean, being an evil elf, I mean, is that a common thing? I mean, are there many elves through history that have been trying to destroy the world?
Well, not to this extent, as far as I know, but given that my father came from the Fae, can only assume that he has some influence here, as he does in our realm. Any of these people could be working for him. I don't know the extent of the corruption and his intentions.
Right. Your father came from the Fae? I thought it came from Akrai. Then Sorry was in Akrai, right?
My father came across from the Feywilds
To Akrai?
My mother, indeed.
And then what? Founded... It was your mother's kingdom in Denfasari?
She was born into royalty. It seemed to appeal to him, but from what I know, from what my mother told me, they fell in love and started a family, and he remained in our plane, only to return occasionally to the Fae, conducting his experiments that he kept so secret.
So how was he king then? If it was your mother that was the royal family, surely she should have ruled as queen, and he would have been her consort.
He's been an incredibly powerful and well-respected man. He gained the respect of the people over many, many years, and demonstrations of his powers and abilities put him in high standing.
So they just accepted him as king?
Essentially, yes.
Looks at Coralina. There's a chance for me yet, isn't there?
Out of character. So you're saying there's a chance. Well, I guess if you earn the favor of people, yes. Either that or you get them to respect you. Admiration or other means. My father with other means.
Demonstrations of those sorts of levels of power tend to make people, if not respectful, then certainly subservient.
So, how is it done with elven royalty? I mean, love and marriage and all that sort of thing. Were you not did arrange a wife for you too? Or?
No, I was exiled at such a young age that was never an option. Not that my mother would have taken part in any such practices. She was a free-thinking and independent woman, and I believe that's why my father came to stay in the material plane in the first place.
Well, and that's how your mother and father met. They just met and fell in love. It wasn't set up by, generations of breeding the perfect couple.
No, far from it.
for treaties and things?
My father's practices brought him back and forth through from the Feywilds to the material plane regularly, and throughout his constant journeys, he met my mother, who realised that this wouldn't have happened in a matter of days, weeks, or even months. This would have taken decades, given the lifespan of an elf.
Ah, yes, you're 150. Is that right?
I'd guess maybe a little less. Still, as I say, I don't know what remaining influence he may have in this place or in the Feywilds where this place is going. So
Maybe we should get out there and learn something, then a bit more about the town. Did they say there was a museum?
all we can do is go and find out, I suppose.
As far as you guys are aware, the only place that of note that you know of is the Emerald Whale the Emerald Wain, that you're within, and the Emerald Citadel, the large structure to the north of the city.
And we tried to arrange an audience in the Citadel, had we, or something? What was going on there? Oh, no, the guy who brought us here on the cart was going to report the demon attack on the journey.
Yes, he said that he was going to go and let the wardens know of the attack before he disappeared.
Well, get out and have a look, I suppose. It's going to be some time before Baal returns. What he'll be able to garner and what discussions he might have with the higher-ups of the city is yet to be seen.
That's assuming his words carry any weight.
Indeed. So, I'll finish up the rest of my drink, place it down on the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up, ready my cloak, hood up.
Mm-hmm. And you're making your way. You guys making your way out into the marketplace?
Temple will do what Victor Alice does, while Eve goes to tinkle.
Didn't need to know that, but go.
Okay, so yeah, we'll make our way out.
All right,
into the ward.
cool. Could I get each of you to make me a perception check?
Okay,
I will.
In addition, I'm gonna ask with my passive investigation.
Yeah.
Am I aware of what hand is Neftari's dominant hand?
Probably. Yeah. What hand of yours is dominant?
I've
Neftari?
never considered it. I would assume right-handed.
Right-handed. Cool. Okay.
It's whichever one the dagger's probably seated at, right? I usually wear a dagger, right? So you keep it on your dominant side.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It'll probably be on his right side then. Or no,
Oh, okay, fine. She's grabbing a hold of his right hand and like just hanging onto it.
Okay.
While they're gonna be walking through.
Can't
use your dagger if your hand's occupied. You fuck.
That's very true. A perception check, please, Carlita.
No, I think he would actually have his dagger on his left side. If he's right-handed, then he would reach across for his dagger like that. Right?
A cross draw.
But that'd be awkward as fuck if you try to use it with your left hand.
Very. Yeah, let's see. 19, 21, 17, 12. I rolled for you, Temple, since you just dipped out. Just use your modifier for you.
What are we rolling for?
It was perception checks. As you guys are getting up and following Victorlus out, you do notice that as Victorlus kind of like puffs up his cloak and puts his hood over his head. A lot of people that are, a lot of the patrons that are still inside, you do notice that their heads swivel towards you, Victorless, and you do hear whispering. You can't really make out what's being said, but you do hear a lot of whispering and heads just constantly turning back over and glancing to you as you make your way out the door.
I'm going to mutter myself as I walk out. This place gives me the creeps. Leave the building.
Okay. As you guys make your way outside, the moon is high in the sky. It's about 3/4, and the sky is clear. The soft white glow of the moonlight is reflecting brilliantly off of the marble white surface, almost completely negating the need for any kind of torchlight within the city itself. There are torches set up for illumination from cloud cover and while in the Feywilds, of course, but this evening, because of how clear the sky is, you do know that there's no real need for torch light and heat. As you step out, you do see a lot of bustling market stalls selling all sorts of different goods, seemingly from a lot of the individuals whom you'd passed on your way up, a lot of the traveling merchants who had come to the Tarnward in order to fleece their wares. But you do also see a lot of stalls that have been set up that are kind of made up with the alien-looking, almost purple wood that you'd seen from the native trees in the area. They seem to be stalls that have been set up by the denizens of Syngorn, looking to fleece their own wares to outside travelers, adventurers who have come to visit the city and perhaps take a memento of their stay here away with them. Is there anything in particular you guys are wanting to do?
Neftari would like to buy a pipe and some elven tobacco.
Okay. As you make your way through, go ahead and actually roll me an investigation check as you start looking around for a stall that would be available to sell you like tobacco-based products. 11. Oh, that's not in the tray. Yeah. You eventually come across a very small stall that's just off to the northwest of the award itself. Seemingly about on the outskirts, seemingly looking like it has a connected to the path that would lead straight to the Emerald Citadel. There is a very small, very well kept elven individual who's stood there, suit on, kind of looking around at all the passerbys, not really paying much attention to them, but you do see as you approach what looks to be different small metal containers that seem to be filled with lots of varying shades of browns that you would assume to be different concoctions of tobacco to be smoked. And of course, there are pipes and other necessities there for actually smoking said tobacco. Of course.
So tell me about your tobaccos. Do any of these have any interesting effects by any chance?
Oh, you mean medicinal properties or
medicinal properties?
Highly recreational properties.
Recreational or otherwise?
Oh, some do. This one in particular, and kind of slides the tobacco to you. It's a small dish. The tobacco itself seems to have flakes of purple and green, like kind of woven through it, and pushes it towards you and passes you a small pipe. This one here is called the Jade Dream. It is a very potent, very relaxing, recreational use tobacco. Might be a bit strong for one such as yourself.
What do you mean?
I mean no offense when I say that, of course. I do apologize. You light it and take a big puff. Con save, please. As you very abruptly stuff the pipe, just prestidigitation, light the pipe and begin smoking it.
How dare he question my...
Or it wouldn't be prestidigitation. It would be... What would it be for you?
So what did I... How dare he question my constitution?
A 17, you just immediately start hacking up a lung. It says, very, very strong. You were definitely not expecting it, and the individual just kind of looks at you and just, as expected. Although you haven't vomited yet, so I will congratulate you on your hardness. The Jade Dream.
I think it's the pipe. The pipe's too small. I prefer a longer stem to cool to smoke and let it mellow as I smoke it. It's the small pipe that's the problem.
Go ahead and roll me a deception check.
I'm gonna take just a small pinch of this tobacco stuff as well. Just rub it between my fingers and just smell it.
Mm-hmm. It smells. How can I put this? Initially, it smells very alien to you, Victorless, before a kind of a memory almost hits you of when you were actually, during your exile, your time that you'd spent out in the forest and traveling, making your way to and from your origin to the prime material, to the Feywild. It smells like like the sense that you could recognize from your childhood more than anything. You can assume that perhaps this tobacco is created in the Feywilds and then brought here to the prime material. Even on a nat 20, 21, the elven individual just kind of looks at you, just, well, unfortunately for you, it's the method of how the tobacco and the chemical components actually enters your bloodstream. That doesn't have any effect on how your body reacts to it.
Can you just break it up a bit, Scott? Can anybody else hear him or not?
Yeah,
I'm getting a little bit, yeah.
Okay, let me, I won't do it through Discord, I'll just slightly turn the gain up a little bit. How's that?
That's perfect.
Alright, cool. Kind of lose you, and just to reiterate, well, unfortunately for you, the means of how the chemical components of the tobacco enters your bloodstream does not affect how it affects your body. I may question your constitution, but this concoction is designed primarily for pure elven, or correction, Eladrin use. You may say that again. Sorry.
I hand the pipe still burning to Alice to have a sample.
And the elven individual, like as you, if you take the pipe, of course, Victorious kind of looks to you, opens his mouth to say something to you, and then kind of closes his mouth and just. An interesting specimen. Say that again, Victorious.
Just going to sort of take a look at the pipe itself and examine the contents.
Cat. Sorry, I just saw a boing and then that was it.
I could see the cat's tail going in the background a minute or so ago. I was just wondering when it was going to come.
just a boing. He kind of like looks to you and it's like, oh, you would find this concoction to be very suitable. If I'm not mistaken, it's an Eldrin yourself.
This smells and seems familiar to me. I wonder, amongst all these other tobaccos you have, whether it's one that works to heighten the senses, make you more aware.
Let me take a look. And he kind of hunches down behind his little stall, and you can hear him rummaging through, and the clinking of the same small metal containers. And he's like, yes, here we go. Kind of lifts it up and pops the container down, pops the lid off, and slides it to you. And it seems to be made of it's more of a red, like a brick red, kind of tinted with brown tobacco that he passes to you. There you go. The wild root. It is said that should one smoke it, their senses will be enhanced. But I will give you warning before either of you try it. It is extremely addicting. I've heard of many individuals who have become dependent on it. So if you would like to try it, and you do purchase it, I will warn you now, before you make up your mind, to try it and use it very sparingly.
Yeah, I've heard tales of people losing their minds on some of these plants.
Tobacco itself is extremely addicting, but this root is, well, it has something about it. It almost makes you feel that time itself around you is moving much slower. Your senses are able to adapt to the change, and you're able to react much quicker than you normally would. But your body will then almost yearn for that sensation again, to the point where if you do not provide it, it may even potentially cost you your life. So I will give you a very astute warning about trying, sampling, and the potential purchase of this substance.
That's quite some risk reward. I mean, when you say it costs you your life, do you mean it makes you... It just kills you?
It doesn't just abruptly kill you, no. Not many things can, unless you're talking about a blade, of course. What it tends to do is your body begins to yearn for the sensation once again, and if you're not able to provide that sensation, your body either adapts to the loss and returns to normal, or begins to shut down. Slowly, your body begins to decay, your organs begin to die, and you will suffer a very slow and very painful death. Unless, of course, you're able to provide the release that your body yearns.
Great restoration, perhaps?
Unfortunately, the arcane ways of restoring oneself are not as prominent with this route. Greater restoration has had zero effect. The only time that I've seen someone smoke this tobacco and use effects and then try and deal with the addiction has had to wish themselves rid of the addiction.
Wow.
And as most spellcasters know, wish is not an easy spell to come by.
And this can happen the very first time you smoke?
Very first time, yes.
Ooh.
Some may be lucky and may be able to take several draws from the pipe before the addiction begins to settle, but most, from what I've seen, have sampled and then immediately began sucking down on the pipe as if their life had depended on it.
Oh dear. But the reward for those that can cope, or even for those that get addicted, as long as you've got a good supply of it, the reward must be fairly substantial and for people to take such a risk of getting addicted to.
It can be quite substantial. I've seen many individuals whom have been using this substance in competition and to combat, able to definitely defeat their opponents and hit their marks with relative ease, but sometimes when they need it the most, or when they least expect it, the addiction seems to settle in and the body craves for the sweet release once again, and it either ruins them or costs them dearly. I have seen an individual who was in a sword duel, not to the death, but it was a duel nonetheless, and mid-match his body seemed to yearn for the release, and as he was about to, from what I can tell, riposte an incoming strike, the blade almost slipped from his hand. His body seemed to just cease functioning for but a moment, and as his body misfired, his opponent relieved him of 4 of his fingers. He then could never duel again.
Sounds fascinating. I'll take a small pouch.
You're going to take the risk, are you?
I'm going to be prepared to take the risk. Should other risks outweigh the risks?
I guess, yeah. Does it work on non-elven individuals?
It does work on anyone, this one.
Do you have any less risky tobaccos I could just, smoke for fun that would work on non-elven individuals?
Yes, take your pick. And he just kind of like waves his hands out before you as there's a lot of tobaccos that are out before you that you could easily purchase, a lot of which are of recreational use and medicinal use. If you're just looking to get high, there are plenty of things there for you.
Yeah, he'll pick out a bright green one that looks like it will get high. But also, he's really not sure whether he wants the risk of the addictive one.
The one that you pick out, Nethtar, he just looks at it and goes, yes, a windless leaf. Very good choice. And how much would you like, sir?
Just a small pouch again.
A small pouch for yourself of the Eganless leaf.
And have you got any really long pipes that look really, really cool?
How long are you looking for?
He holds his hands up, about 2 foot long. So
Kind of like looks over and opens a small side compartment to his stall, reaches in, and you just hear like the draw of wood across wood as he pulls out a very long, a white wooden, like almost polished pipe that spans about, it's not quite 2 feet, it's about 1 3/4 feet long, and he kind of passes it to you. Like, about that, I could make a longer one if you would like one that's longer, but that is the longest pipe that I have with me at the moment.
He turns to his friends. Well, if Torre the Wise has to look wise, does he look wise?
Do you have your pipe in your mouth at the same time? Just like, go ahead and roll me a performance check. Let's see how good well you're able to pull off this look. 15. The rest of you, it kind of just looks like Natari with a pipe.
I mean, I really wouldn't know. Smoking was not a habit for me. I mean, they had a habit a few years ago. That was just because of the girl he was seeing.
Do you think I need to grow a beard as well?
Most
Doesn't
wise.
he already have a beard?
Well, he's scruffy.
Old,
He's very scruffy, yes.
Scruff, okay.
Well, most stories of the prime material of wise men and powerful wizards are men depicted with very long beards, so perhaps that might accompany the look if you just want to look wiser.
Do you have any tobaccos that make your beards grow?
No.
I thought that might be what all the old wizards smoked. But oh well.
Unless that is something from where you're from, no, we do not sell that kind of concoction here.
Well, what do I owe you for this?
For that, it will cost you 6,000 gold.
Oh.
All your life, ha!
Yes, need I remind you that
Good stuff.
it is, well, it is very good, that is very true, but it is also very, very dangerous and very, very addicting. You are aware of the risk, and the price also covers that risk.
Okay. I'll hand over 600 platinum.
600 platinum. You slowly count it out and pass it over to him. He kind of looks at you, looks down, then looks up at you. Be thankful we're in the prime material, otherwise I wouldn't have accepted this, but kind of drops it into a small box, and it just seems to disappear and not make a sound as he lets you keep the like he fills up. It's not a tiny pouch, but it's about a dye bag size worth. So about that much filled up worth of this root that he passes to you. I would be extremely careful with that. And for yourself, the windless leaf, are you wanting the same amount, or would you like more?
Probably a little more than that.
2 pouches?
Yes, that was fine.
2
Let's
pouches.
figure out.
That will be 1,200 gold.
Wow, I thought this was just recreational.
It is.
It seems very expensive for tobacco.
Welcome to Syngorn.
What, do they tax things like this here?
I tend to try and make a profit out of everything, yes.
So how much is this actually worth?
Oh, that's for me to know and you to find out.
1,200 gold.
It is up to you. You can accept the price and pay it, or go without.
Well, what's your cheapest tobacco then?
The cheapest, and he kind of slides one over to a pouch over to you. That is very bland, doesn't have any good taste, and doesn't offer you any benefits other than the addiction of the burning chemicals. 10 gold.
I'll take your big pouch of that then, please.
How big are we talking?
Oh, well, 10 gold worth.
And the small pouch that you slid over to you.
And maybe... So the windless stuff did have some medicinal properties then?
Yes, it did.
Oh, okay, I'll take that as well.
Are you taking 1 or 2 pouches?
A pouch of the windless and a pouch of the cheap shite.
610 gold.
Right. He hands it over.
Counts all the gold and pops it down. And
61 platinum, isn't it?
61 platinum, yeah. He counts all the platinum out and pops it down into his little tray. Don't hear it clink down. And kind of... Well, is there anything else that I can do for you?
Oh, and the pipe, is that included in the price?
For the sake of your lines of inquiry and the
Excellent
somewhat...
battering skills, yes.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. But the line of inquiry and a good conversation that I've not had with a lot of people for quite some time. Slides the pipe over to you. Like, take it as a memento of your time spent here in Syngorn.
Thank you very much, sir.
You are quite welcome. If there's anything else that you do have need of, anything within the town ward, please don't hesitate to come back.
Right, I assume the tinderbox in my inventory is suitable for
Yeah,
making-
it'd be suitable to strike a spark to light a pipe. You would need to be careful with it because it would be it's this spark. The striking from a tinderbox is designed to light a campfire.
Mm-hmm.
So you would need to be a bit more careful with it. But if for all intents and purposes, yes, you could use your tinderbox to light your pipe.
I think it's going to stuff a bit of the cheap tobacco into the pipe right now and get a
Mm.
light off the stall holder and swagger down the street. Looking like, thinking he looks like Neftari the Great.
Like he looks like the best thing since sliced bread. The elven individual just like, well, is there anything else that I could potentially help you with?
Does anyone else have anything they need to buy while we're here? I myself would be interested to know if there are any specialized weaponsmiths,
Oh,
charms, magic items, that kind of thing.
oh yes, many. Feel free to browse. There are many different stalls that are providing weapons that I'd have sought out and distributed.
Take our time and have a look around then. Thank you.
Of course.
I'll secure the little pouch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Away and scan the area, see what's around.
All right, as you
Very dodgy.
what?
That stuff he's got.
The pouch of stuff. Yeah, as you make your way around the rest of the stalls within the ward, there are quite a lot of individuals that seem to be selling things, mostly elven individuals. You've got a myriad of different things from, wand scribes to alchemists selling potions, rangers with bows, arrows, and crossbows, armorers and tanners selling like plate armor, chainmail, leather armor, to blacksmiths who are forging different types of blades. There are quite a lot of individuals around whom you could very easily talk to. Just depends on what you're looking for.
I wanted to keep an eye out for basically arrows of any unique properties or interests, anything that looks like they might be a little bit special.
Okay.
And somewhere that might sell kind of magical charms, trinkets, that sort of thing. I'm actually specifically looking for something that would potentially prevent someone from scrying on you.
Okay. I don't know if there's actually. Man, take a quick look. See here in the DMG for.
I thought there was an anti-scrying spell, isn't it?
I'm not sure. There is a something that lets you an item that prevents you from being scryed upon. I can't remember what it is though.
It's like trying to Google something, but you don't know what the word is, so you don't know how to Google it.
Yeah, exactly.
As they're walking around the markets in the meantime, Neftari is like to call in.
I don't know what to. But I've never smoked.
No, well, you just kind of you just take the smoke into your mouth, and it's quite harmless once you get used to it. And notice.
Still take an inhale. So fun fact about air genasi, they can hold their breath indefinitely. So it's just like.
And she's watching and sees no smoke come out.
Nothing.
Oh, maybe it's gonna come out your ears or something then.
I mean, I can kind of hold my breath, when she finally opens her mouth to speak, smoke, and it's just. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a thing Air Genasi do is we can just really good at holding our breath.
So that's why nobody smokes in that realm.
Well, like I said, I've never smoked. Dad, if the boys smoked, if any of my brothers smoked, like I said, because they had a habit a few years back, but I mean, they mostly kept that to themselves. So they don't share with lady how to smoke. I didn't know how to drink either for a while, and then before I met you guys, there was a nice dwarf that ran an inn, and I was taught how to take shots. Rather interesting experience.
Why is it always a dwarf that runs the inn?
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I don't know actually.
Quite hardy individuals. They tend to be able to outlast most of their patrons.
Yep. Can usually break up a fight.
Needs to be.
Right. Not really able to find anything like that, but I know what you're looking for, so I could easily set something like that up. So yeah, is there anything else that you guys in particular are looking for, like magic item wise?
If there's a place that's got spell scrolls, I'm down. Or books.
Oh yeah, you've seen plenty of places that are selling spell scrolls and like books, magical and non-magical.
Kind of like when you walk with a kid and it's like passing a candy store. It's just.
Hi. Oh, Mom, can I get one of the? Nope, let's go. Aww.
No, you have books at home. Oh.
But I don't have that one.
Temple is always on the lookout to see if he can spot anything that would give his shield collection more versatility. Temple has a +1 shield and an arrow catching shield, which is slightly better than a +1 for ranged attacks.
Well, let me take a look. See here. To do that and change that to that one. There we go. Okay, right. Neftari, anything for yourself in particular?
No, he'll just be smoking his pipe. He's
All right, cool. So spell scrolls and books for Carolina. Armor for Temple to see about any a new potentially new shield. And you're looking for trinkets and other magical items like Torless. So we will start.
And any arrows that look like.
And yes, and an armor like a weaponsmith or ranger for magical arrows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will start with Carolina on a 6. So could you give me an investigation check, please? Mm-hmm. 18. As you guys are making your way around, you do spot like a stall that seemingly has a lot of bundled up scrolls and books scattered over it. And interestingly enough, the individual whom was just talking to you guys at the tobacco stand. Seems to be behind this stall as well. Well, hello. What can I do for you today?
Yeah, can I look at rolls
Hey,
and such?
Kayla, could you do me a favor and just slightly turn up your games? You're really quiet.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, can I just look at your spell scrolls and see if there's any I don't have?
Well, is there anything in particular you're looking for? I do have.
I like to be surprised.
Well, what kind of magic are you more inclined to?
Well, I have been studying conjuration for quite some time. That is my forte as of right now. But I like being flexible.
And do you have any particular level of spell you're looking for?
Well, I can work up to about maybe an 8th level. But anything around there, or below is fine.
Let me see here. I'm assuming one such as yourself already has access to the basics, such as plane shift, modern cannons, and teleportation circle, and the likes.
Yes. Yeah. Conjuring major and minor elementals.
Let me take a look, see here. So I'm just actually taking a look at spells that you might be interested in taking. Unfortunately, there's not really much that I can offer you. Do you have perhaps this one? And kind of pulls out a scroll and slides it over to you. It is quite expensive. Well, perhaps expensive for someone such as yourself. I do not wish to assume your financial status. But one of the components does require a gem encrusted bowl worth 1,000 gold, which the spell will consume, but it will benefit yourself and your fellow companions for at least 24 hours, which will be quite advantageous if you never think you're going to come into a somewhat difficult conflict. For game sense, it is Hero's Feast.
That's interesting.
So out of game, you bring forth a great feast, including magnificent food and drink. The feast takes 1 hour to consume and disappears at the end of that time, and the beneficial effects don't set in until this hour is over. Up to 12 other creatures can partake in the feast. A creature that partakes in the feast gains several benefits. The creature is cured of all diseases and poisons, becomes immune to poison and frightened, and makes all wisdom saving throws with advantage. Its hit point maximum also increases by 2d10, and against the same number of hit points, these benefits last for 24 hours.
I mean, yeah, as long as I'm capable of, being able to properly, put this down in my spellbook, yeah, this would be great, actually.
Well, it is only a 6th level spell, and I can easily provide this scroll to you for you to copy down into your spellbook for a measly 1,500 gold pieces.
How many?
1,500.
Oh, done. 150 platinum.
Pass the platinum over. Like, pops it away in a little shelf and passes you over the scroll. Is there?
You gotta go bowl too?
The bowl is your material components, my dear. I don't provide the components for you. I just provide the spells.
Fair enough, just thought I'd ask.
We're in the market. I'm sure we'll be able to find a bowl.
I wouldn't be surprised if you would. I'd be surprised if you were not able to find one.
If the bowl isn't really consumed, I mean, bowl.
But yes, it does have a monetary value, remember, if you are considering conjuring said items.
What a fantastic bowl. I will buy that bowl off you for 1,000 gold pieces, was it?
That is correct.
And he hands over 1,000 gold pieces to Carolina. Oh,
The bowl has a value.
would you like to buy it back? What do you think? Do you think that's valid?
This is so stupid.
Very.
Wait, Neftari isn't stupid. Neftari is wise. Drag on his back.
Wise and stupid are not mutually exclusive.
I don't know what Scott's looking at us like he hates us and is going to do something.
I still don't think a conjuration is gonna work like that. It's just a conjuration, so to me the value is nothing because I have nothing to really, invest into it.
Right. I think we should have a look for a bowl or two around the rest of the market. I mean,
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I do have one other spell that might interest you since you are more adapted to conjuration. Kind of picks one up and passes it to you. It is a highly volatile spell when used. It is 8th level. Concentration, but it can be quite effective in close quarters combat. It conjures a smoke cloud that is almost incinerated. The air becomes very arid, difficult to breathe. One's lungs almost begin to burn. Quite effective. And out of game, it is the spell Incendiary Cloud. A swirling cloud of smoke shot through with white-hot embers appears in a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point within 150 feet. The cloud spreads around corners and is heavily obscured. It lasts for the duration or until a wind of moderate or greater speed, which is at least 10 miles per hour, disperses it. When the cloud appears, each creature in it must make a dex saving throw. A creature takes 10d8 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. A creature must also make the saving throw when it enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn, or ends its turn there. The cloud moves 10 feet directly away from you in a direction that you choose at the start of each of your turns.
A little bit of crowd control and, dealing damage within an area. I actually like it. How much for this one?
This one, unfortunately, will cost you a little bit more. It will be 5,000 gold pieces.
Done.
Pass over the gold and or platinum. Deposits it away.
Just platinum.
Just platinum. Deposits it away. Is there anything else that I can offer you? Any interesting spells? High level? Or deadly ones? Something that you've perhaps never really considered using in the past.
I mean, I think I'm okay unless you have something like really, really interesting. I mean, anything that would be a larger conjuration would be nice if you have it other than the incendiary cloud, but
I do have 2 other conjuration spell scrolls here. Now, I do. This may be a bit crass of me to ask, but what is your financial balance? How much are you willing to spend on a scroll?
depends on how good the scroll is.
Don't tell him. It's a trick question.
Lifts up the scroll, and this one you see is it's not the scroll itself. It's a small, thin, almost wooden tube that's bound in red leather with gold accents surrounding it. The most powerful spell a mortal can cast.
Wish.
Exactly. How much can you pot for if you wish to be able to change history, become rich and famous, heal anyone that you can see, become immune to any kind of attack?
And she'll be able to reuse that spell whenever she pleases.
If you have the ability to cast night level spells, then yes. However, of course, doing anything outside of the boundaries of wish itself will cause heavy strain on your body, and there's always the potential that you may never be able to cast wish again.
Yeah, sometimes those spells backfire, don't they?
Oh, wish can very much backfire.
It's very clear when you cast it.
I have known an individual who tried to wish that his mother was alive again, and he ceased to exist. What I can assume happen is that the way the divine beings, the divine insight of the way the weave interpreted his request of being at a time brought back to a time when his mother was alive instead of being alive there with him now, and so it sent him back in time to a point when his mother was alive. But I've never seen that individual again, unfortunately. But how much is the ability to alter the very foundations of reality in accordance with your own desires worth to you, young lady?
70,000.
70,000. Is that your limit? Or can you go a little higher?
Just a little higher.
I'll part with it for 90.
I can give you some more.
Fine. 90,000 seems appropriate. So 9,000 platinum just gets stacked up. Stacks.
Stack it up. He begins counting it. Then separates some of the platinum into a separate pile. Slides 2,000 platinum back to you. Bartering is something that we try and do here. Don't be afraid to do such a thing. 70 is more than plenty for a spell this powerful, but and he kind of like begins handing it out to you, but as you reach to it, he lifts it up away from you. Like, do be very, very careful with this kind of spell. There have been many people who have almost brought complete annihilation to the prime material with their selfish desires. Don't make the same mistakes they do.
That it can be prevented.
Oh, no,
They
were the ones that caused it. So don't cause us any issues with that. Please, for the love of the gods. Scoops the 7,000 platinum away and slides you back 2,000 platinum. What about the rest of you? Do any of you have any desires to use any spell scrolls and spend some money here?
Not unless you have a jewel encrusted dish.
Oh, I won't be able to provide that to you. Again, I provide the abilities to cast the spells. I don't provide the components.
Or, behold.
I will say, like, spell scrolls work for anybody just by reading them. I didn't know if you guys knew that.
I didn't know that.
Oh yes, if you were to, and I trust you wouldn't actually do this, but if you were to steal the 70,000 gold worth of spell scroll from your companion there, you could most definitely cast the most powerful spell that a mortal can cast right there at your fingertips.
Just by reading it?
Just by reading it.
With no wizard training at all?
No arcane training whatsoever. You need not even be able to manipulate the weave yourself. The magic is contained within the scroll itself.
Does one need to know the language written upon the scroll?
You will need to be able to read it, yes. But for the sake of brevity and for the sake of most common folk, it is in the common tongue.
Doesn't that sound incredibly dangerous to everyone else?
It is very
expensive.
It is incredibly dangerous, but not a lot of people can afford things like that. After all, 70,000 gold pieces, most common folk, my apologies.
And of course, you can only use a scroll once as well.
That is also correct. One would not be able to cast this wish spell scroll and save it for another occasion. Once you do use the spell, the scroll does get incinerated and used up once the magic is expelled from it.
But if she copies it to her spellbook, she could cast it
multiple times, yes. However, that would not allow you to cast it. If you have an inkling as to what you would like to do with your spellcasting, please let me know. But for the time being, unless I can offer you anything right at this very moment in time, I will have to ask you to step away. I do have other customers waiting for me. And he does, that's gesture behind him. Behind yourselves, sorry, as there seems to be a bit of a queue behind you, but you do see a lot of the individuals are kind of like looking over your shoulder like, oh shit, she just bought a wish spell. I wonder what she's going to do with it. Oh, I wonder if she's going to like make herself nice and rich and famous. You know, they're just mumbling to themselves what you could do with the spell.
Yep, in the bag of holding all these go.
Well, if that's the case, I bid you a good day. Or, at the very least, a good evening. Alright. With that, we will move on to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's see. Temple, on a 3. You're up next. As you start, making your way throughout the ward, taking a look around after Corlina's just spent a fair whack of money on several new spell scrolls. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Turns out that happens when your wizard's a little gold hoarder.
Oh, excuse me.
I think we're all hoarding it a bit, to be fair. Like, Neftari's probably got 1 million platinum.
Mm.
Not quite.
Not quite. But on a 19, as you glance around, You do find a couple of armorers that are, fleecing their wares, and you're looking for a better shield than the one that you currently have, and none seem to actually catch your attention. All your lines of inquiry, they all end up in the same, like, with the same response of, we've got like your base shields and +1 shields, but we don't have anything that would be an upgrade for you. Until you get to the last few stalls. You catch this. The first one catches your attention as there are a lot of shields dotted around, and yeah, it's also right next to what seems to be an elven ranger of sorts selling arrows and such that Victorious could take advantage of. As you approach, you kind of knock on the stall as the elven individual is like hunched down gathering stuff before they stand up and address you. Oh, good day. Oh, what can I do for you? And it appears to be the exact same person again. Just that look on Evelyn's face of, what's going on here?
Victoralis, does this gentleman look familiar to you?
Oh, I do say I will look very familiar to you.
You have a brother?
I personally am actually an only child. And no one has actually explained to you how the Town Ward actually operates, do you? Or have they?
No. First
No.
time visiting.
Ah.
All new.
New adventurers?
Yeah.
Yes, of course, tourists into Syngorn. Why? I'm not surprised. So, the way that the Tarn Ward actually operates is the ward is actually run by a single individual. His name is Rondell. He's the warden here of the Tarn Ward. He's the one that runs everything, and he actually monopolizes on every single store that you see here. So, everyone here, we are our own individuals. As an example, if you be so kind as to just follow me for just 2 minutes, and you do see that the elven individual just immediately begins walking away from his stall, gets right up to the cusp of where the Tarn Ward ends, and just stands there at the boundaries.
Okay. Follow along.
Do you all follow along?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting.
And as you approach, kind of looks you, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. As you see, when I'm stood here, I do look like this elven individual whom is quite an obnoxious voice, if you ask me, and everyone looks the same. But if I step here, and he steps over the threshold, and you do see as he's saying, if I step here, you'll notice that my voice actually completely changes. And as he steps over, it feels like it comes across as an illusion, but his physical form completely changes to be a tall, somewhat well-built human individual. Kind of looks up to you, looks over to you all, like, yes, I'm not an elf, but unfortunately, Rondell monopolizes on everything, and everything is like he takes a cut of all the sales of the Syngorn run stalls within the ward during business hours. So we all look like him because it's a reminder that we all basically work for him.
A uniform of sorts.
I love the uniformity. It's simply spectacular.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it. It is a uniform, but I don't like the face. It feels very weird to not have my own face on while I'm working.
So I'm
Anyway.
just curious, out of hours, are there vendors available in other parts of the city that might be less
No.
well regulated.
Unfortunately, not all of the all commerce is brought through here to the Tarn Ward, and the only time that anyone is, like, you'll see, and kind of like points over into the ward where there's an individual, an elven woman with long flowing blonde hair at her own small stall, fleecing her own wares. Like, she is an example. She's not from here. I don't know where she's come from. She's probably just another merchant from another city who've come to Syngorn before we translocate to the Feywilds, looking to make money here while she has the opportunity. Because they're not monopolized by Rondell, they they don't need to. She doesn't need to look like him, but the rest of us, because we live here, we operate here. Anytime we're conducting business, we, as you say, we have our uniforms on. That's the way it works, I'm afraid.
There's a lot of magic in this city.
Oh yes, it takes a lot of arcane power to translocate an entire city from the Prematerial to the Feywilds. So, is a very heavy on the arcane prowess here in Syngorn.
You never work
with your, I guess, employer, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Did he come up with the whole illusory idea himself, or
yeah, just
perform it himself?
He put it in place himself because it feels more like it's a reminder that he is in charge. He's the one that's got the money going to, and if anyone were to ever try and do something about it, he controls us or something like that. It's he says that. I don't trust that he would actually do anything to anyone. He seems like a really nice gentleman when you actually meet Rondell. But some people feel like the power just goes to his head, but I think it's just a means of, you remember, you work for me.
What kind of influence does Rondell have over the governance of this city?
Well, he's one of the wardens, so whenever it comes to a dedicated discussion as to what should happen within Syngorn, he does have quite a well, I wouldn't say a massive influence, but his words do carry weight.
And who ultimately decides where the city goes, when it goes?
That would come down to Terelda, the High Warden. The other three wardens, like Rondell, they're more advisors than anything. They run the external wards of Syngorn and make sure that everything is running efficiently. And then they advise Terelda on what should be done, where and when, and if Terelda agrees with them, then yes, their suggestions will be put into action. Otherwise, it's purely up to her what will happen.
And this Terelda resides in the Citadel.
Yes, that's correct. She stays up in the Emerald Citadel. I haven't met her personally, but I've only ever seen her once in the last 300 years.
Interesting.
Does nobody ever worry that in a city with so much magic at work everywhere, some dark force might come along and try to, I don't know, harness that magic, do something bad with it?
It's more of a deterrence than anything, actually. I think the humans have a phrase for it. It's like mutually assured devastation or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But essentially, the way we consider it is everyone has free access to their own magical arcane prowess throughout the city, because if one person starts slinging spells everywhere, then everyone around them will start slinging spells back. And no one's really going to cause any trouble. No one's going to power word kill a member of public if, though, like 50 of those member of public will be able to power word kill them back. It's more of a mutual agreement to not do anything stupid while within the city walls.
I mean, what if there was somebody that had the ability to cast spells higher than anybody else, and they tried to harvest?
Well, that's as far as I'm aware, that's not physically possible. The restrictions on mortal casting is limited to 9th level spells.
I mean, unless they had the Staff of Karsus.
The Staff of Karsus is a myth.
Of course it is. Sorry.
An interesting read, though, that piece of research.
It is. I've done a lot of research on Karsus and what he managed to do in the past before the calamity, before we lost all magic. But you know, it's all just a myth. Whether or not, like, people can claim that it actually happened, but I don't believe it unless you bring me physical evidence that Karsus actually existed and he was able to rend the god of magic from existence and become the god of magic for a mere moment. Then bring it to me and I will happily believe that it happened. But until then, no, it didn't happen. It's just a myth. There'd be no. Mortals wouldn't be able to cast spells if that were the case. If a mortal was able to rend a god from existence, there would be no need, like, no deity would allow us to have arcane powers if that were the case. Because if it's happened once, surely it could happen again.
Most time will tell.
But anyway, enough rambling. Please, let's go back to my stall and we'll begin your transaction and see about getting you what it is that you need. As he steps over the boundary back into the Tarnward and escorts you back over to his stall. So, what is it that you desire?
Well, I noticed a rather exemplary shield there. And
yes.
I'm a paladin. That is my greatest interest.
Yes, I can. This shield here is, well, it's one of my best, and he picks it up and is inlaid with several different types of gemstones, aligned with bands of gold and platinum. Kind of picks it up and just like deftly spins it in his hand and puts his his fingers in the middle of it and spins it out like a plate and just holds it there in his hand. Given the enchantment that has been put on the shield, this is very effective. It would be very effective for someone such as yourself. The shield itself is made of a very lightweight material that will not only make it much more harder for creatures to hit you, but it would be a lot easier for you to deflect these incoming blows. The material itself is designed to absorb the shock of a strike to make it less impactful and allow you to better retaliate against such a strike. For game mechanics sense, it's a +2 shield.
Can't hear you, Eve.
Muted, Eve.
It definitely seems like something that would benefit me and the party. What would you charge for it in trade? For this +1 shield I have here, which I would presumably no longer require.
Oh, well, if you have a +1 that you would like to provide to me as an exchange, 10,000. I would exchange this for 7,500 gold pieces.
Temple looks over to Victor Alice. Is that a lot of money?
That is a lot of money.
Should I haggle? Should I ask him for 7,499?
I'm sure that you drive a very hard bargain. 7,499 gold pieces.
No. I'll probably be paying for this. My friend doesn't carry money. I think 6,000 gold pieces sounds better.
See, now this is how you haggle. You go much lower than the original asking price, so that the person that you're haggling with then gives you a counterclaim of something much closer to what you would like to.
I just watched that JoJo episode.
Fuck's sake. So 6,000 gold pieces. How about 7,250?
I'm sorry, but 6,500. Well, 650 platinum is all I have left.
Deception check. Well, if that's the case, unfortunately for you, I have a business to run and I do want to make some money. And so if you only have 650 platinum, then...
Oh, there was another 50 I had. Yeah, 700 platinum.
700 platinum. 7,000 gold pieces.
Shield is one thing, good sir. I myself am looking for some specialized arrows that might complement my new bow.
Arrows, well, you'd probably be able to step to the next stall over. The ranger there would be able to sit you for that. I personally don't deal with them. Bows, arrows, I'm just armor and shields.
Then I'll just sort of stand, but take a step back, fold my arms, and I'm going to watch Temple and Neftari negotiate.
He counts out 700 platinum pieces.
And do you have any gold pieces left over? Because I would say the lowest I'm afraid I could go is 7,125.
Yeah, okay.
So we have a deal. Perfect, if you'd just kindly hand that over.
Okay.
Excellent work, Neftari. I am quite sure that 7,125 is indeed a smaller number than 7,500. You truly are a master trader.
700 platinum, 125 gold.
Honestly, better at debating. And there's your joke.
And that joke, Kayla?
Sorry.
Oh. A master trader, a master debater.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
But you pass it over, and then he passes the shield over to you, Temple, and the +1, of course.
The deal already being made. Temple hands over this very battered and well-used +1 shield.
Wow.
that's had Balors explode on it and everything, or whatever they call.
It's seen some use.
Many a demon has died affront that shield.
I think having seen so much use, that makes it worth more, actually. I mean...
No. he just shuts you down straight away.
Genuine, exploded demons. on it. I mean, it's not just.
I'm sorry, but if you were to come to me wearing a suit, like a suit that's and said to me that this suit had the internal organs of a demonic entity strewn across it, I would be less inclined to purchase it off of you.
Oh, it's funny you should say that. You're not interested in a coat, then?
I deal with armor. Anyway, unless there's anything else that I can get to you, it looks like your companion is itching to speak to the ranger over there. Is there anything else anyone's wanting to get? Armor or anything like that?
I have no need for armor.
Neftari, perhaps you could get, as a present for for Coralina, a set of heavy armor. I think she'd look wonderful. Of course, Temple, being biologically incapable of whispering, still speaking at full volume, but with his hand over his face.
The armor would weigh more than I would.
We could get you some very skimpy armor.
Goodness me, that would be horribly inefficient.
Very much so.
Hey, sir, can you direct me to the chainmail bikinis?
Right this way.
Well, unfortunately for you, such a suggestion of skimpy armor, there's no such thing. That's a very common misconception. Armor is designed to fit any body type and is designed to actually protect your internal organs. Anyone who says that you've seen someone in a skimpy armor set is an idiot.
I'm not sure. I did once see a Goliath wearing a gnome's battle armor.
Well, a Goliath is an idiot, to be fair.
I can't disagree.
I gotta still be able to, like, use my hands and do magic stuff, so, typically armor's a no-go for me.
Then I shall stand in front of you at all times.
Just try not to get hit in the back.
Just use Misty Step to get out of the way.
Then we're at an impasse.
Well, if there's nothing else that I can get for you, then I bid you a good day and thank you for your business.
No, thank you for your business. 7,125 gold pieces.
I'm disappointed. I thought that they had metal bikinis that were, would make you all powerful. I'm sure I've heard of girdles of ultimate power.
Well,
Are you
Neftari.
trying to say something about something that's supposed to trim a lady's waist?
I just thought they had skimpy armor. That's...
Well, Neftari, before you shoot yourself in the foot any further with that crossbow.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Perhaps a certain warforged.
Investigate to find traps.
Perhaps a certain warforged that's proficient in blacksmith tools could make you a new present.
God.
2 coasters and some string here.
In Christ. Right. Moving swiftly onwards, Victorious is kind of, as the business is conducted, you kind of step over to your right a few paces and make your way over to the ranger. It's the same ranger that the armorer had pointed out to you, an elven woman with a long flowing blonde hair. She's kind of currently fletching an arrow and looks up to you as you approach, and she'll look at you. You look somewhat familiar. You're not from around here, are you?
Not here specifically.
Denfasarian accent as well. I was right. But you died, didn't you?
Apparently not.
Wait, Vic, you died too? When was this?
So you are victorious. I was just saying things, but thank you. You are victorious. of Denfasari. It is a pleasure. My name is Owen. That's a Wene for note-taking purposes. I left Denfasari a long time ago when I first heard that you had been lost. I didn't know. I didn't really trust your father's practices and what he wanted for the people. I thought you would be more fair to your people when you grew up, but when I heard rumors that you had in fact passed to the afterlife, I made my way over here. But, my prince, as I live and breathe, and as you live and breathe, what can I do for you?
You heard that I'd apparently passed. What else did you hear? Who else has apparently passed? Because if I am who you seem to think I am, then as you can see, I'm very much alive.
Quite a few of my old friends and family members had passed in the time frame, but there were whispers that Zilstina had grown very ill from your demise, and your mother had to take her to the Feywilds in order to keep her safe, but not much else. Not many other rumors have hit my ears, I'm afraid. After taking the time to prepare, I departed for Taldori pretty quickly. I've spent the last, how long would it be now? Last 100 years here?
And the city of Denfasari still stood.
Of course. It still stands now, doesn't it? It hasn't been razed, has it?
Not the last that we heard of it.
Oh,
No,
thank
we
God.
went there. Didn't we?
Oh, well, I'm glad. As long as home still stands, then.
For how long? We'll have to wait and see.
That sounds very ominous of you, my prince.
Did we go to Denfasari?
You did, yes. It was the three of you in Richmond that went to Denfasari.
It was a bit weird. It got destroyed in one time,
Yes.
and it survived in another.
Yes. Multiverse, my guy.
Yep.
You refer to me as Prince.
Well, you are. You're the son of the king.
Perhaps you even acknowledge or know who I am.
Well, I'm sure you may have noticed that a lot of people kind of pay you distinct attention. Most elves don't have long flowing black hair, unless you're an Eldrin. And, well, the glow from your arm is quite a distinct kind of mark you have there, my prince. As you, and the mention, if you glance down, even though your cloak fully covers your arm, you do see that there's actually a very faint glow of yellow flowing from your sleeve to your wrist. If there's one thing that I do say I'm good at being a ranger, is I do have very good attention to detail. You can't fake one of those.
Sorry, what was?
She said you can't fake one of those.
And what do you know of this?
It's
I'll
your.
just bring back my sleeve slightly. Well,
She kind of like her smile widens, and she does kind of lean in closer to get a very good look at your mark. Wow, I've not actually seen one this close myself. It's just from textbooks and stories, but a mark of shadow. You're bound to what looks to be a almost fully grown shadow dragon. That's it's a powerful bond that you share with a very, very intelligent being.
well, you seem to be quite knowledgeable on the subject. Certainly more knowledgeable than anyone else we've met in this land.
I've done a lot of research into myself and what I am, where I come from. I like to know quite a bit about my our origins. Like yourself, an Eldrin from the Feywild. It's always good to know where your roots are. So I've done a lot of research.
Well, we're here with one purpose, and that is to save our home of Denfasari from the corruption and destruction that my father seems willing to bring down upon it.
Wait, your father's actually trying to bring down Denfasari now?
Maybe not the city itself, but the land of a cry. Denfasari will never be the same again. Neither will the land.
Oh, what has he done?
Seems set on taking the land under some dark power, raising the undead, demons and the like, to overrun the land for his own purposes.
And you're going to stop him?
That's what brings us to Taldore. The hope that we can rally enough support to mount some kind of defense and save our home.
But you needed me.
I'm going to discreetly, I've still got the oath bow wrapped up, like in kind of canvas or whatever. I'm going to discreetly take that down, and I'm just going to like open it up very slightly on the kind of table in front.
You hear a sudden sharp intake of breath, and she kind of takes a half step back as she looks down at it like, hey, this is you have yes, that how can I help with that? May I?
I need to ensure that this strikes true, and when it does strike, it does the job it was intended to do.
So you're looking for an enchantment on it, a better ammunition?
Ammunition. I think this is the pinnacle of what I can achieve from a bow.
Well, yes, it is an oath bow.
But I'll take one of the +1 arrows out. This, I don't think, is going to maximize the potential of that.
Oh no,
bird.
absolutely not. She kind of leans over to the side and pulls out several bundles and drops them down before you. Take these. She slides one bundle over to you. They will help you in your travels and will hopefully keep you alive for the final strike at your father. And these, I won't be able to give them to you. I'll have to charge them for you because I do need to live. But if you could kill him with these, it would make my life all the happier. As she gives you a bundle of 20 plus 2 arrows and slides over an offer of a bundle of plus 3 arrows.
All the help I can get. I want to check. Is there any familiarity? Does this person seem like someone I've ever met or look like anyone? I just
Roll me a
trying to do
history
it.
check.
Vic's so suspicious about this whole place.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm taking that into account. Don't you worry.
History, yeah.
Yeah, please. A 14. Almost like a very, like an almost forgotten dream. The name of Wayne and like the flowing hair, you don't remember them directly, but you feel a sense of similarity. Not perhaps you didn't know this person, but perhaps you knew of them, or you knew them by extension of someone else.
I appreciate your help. I will, of course, take anything.
There's the 20 plus 2s, and the plus 3s. It would be 10,000 gold pieces for them.
I'm gonna just pause and meet her eyes for a moment. Just let her know that I'm not entirely sold on who she is. And without breaking her gaze, I will hand over 10,000 gold. I'm gonna try and take her out of any cash, and then I'll slowly take the 2 packs of arrows.
She scoops the 10,000 gold into a chest that clatters around with a lot of other coin as she secures it away. And I will say this, my prince, if there's anything, or when the time comes, if you need of me, let me know. I was one to fight for, not for your father, but I always was willing to fight for your mother. And I will fight for you.
Are you staying with the city when it travels to the Feywild?
I have means of returning from the Feywild to the Prime Material.
Well, how do we contact you?
Exactly. When the time comes, how will we let you know?
Shit. I'll seek you out. How long do you intend to stay here in Syngorn?
As little time as possible.
If you do not leave here in the next 24 hours, I will seek out a scroll of sending for you and provide it to you that you may use to get into contact with me if and when the time arises that you need my help. If I'm not in the Prime Material and if I'm in the Feywilds, I will do whatever I can to get back to Denfasari. To fight for you, my prince. I don't fight. I would never fight for your father.
Well, should you see or hear word of him in the Feywild, just be careful.
I will.
All is not as it seems.
I will take care of myself, and if I do hear of anything that any whispers of your father and anything that he might plan, I will try and get that information back to you as well, my prince.
We'll be here maybe for a couple of days. In the meantime, we have important work to do.
Of course.
Take care of yourself. We'll be back tomorrow.
And you, my prince. Good evening.
Hood tucked right over my head again, now knowing people definitely know who I am. And
or you have, well, or at the
bed.
very least, you've been recognized by an individual, yeah.
Yep. I'm just going to casually start to wander away from there.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, for yourself, Victorless, as you, before the night comes to a close, you are able to find yourself an artificer of sorts, the same looking elven individual whom brought you into the city, whom you still haven't gotten his name, kind of sees you all approaching and says, well, you seem to have...
Taxi driver, dude.
Yeah.
Baal, his name was.
Well, Baal. And
Taxi driver Elf gave us a lift from Westrun to Syngorn. Wasn't he the guy who walked in there and then went up to the
Citadel? Did he go?
Citadel?
yeah, I didn't actually have that down here in my Syngorn notes. Huh. I must have mispasted that then. His name was Baal, yeah?
Yeah, Bhall.
Bhall. I did have the I thought I gave him a name, but I didn't actually have it noted down. I must have like mispasted it or something like that. Or I know what I've done. I've cut it from something instead of I've cut it and then not pasted it, or I've cut it and then I've copied something else over it in the my clipboard, and I've copied over it. That is my mistake. But yes, Ball kind of is there and like sees you all approach. Yes, the wandering group of adventurers who were able to ensure the safety of the people of Syngorn from a demonic incursion. What can I do for you?
Yeah. Did you report the demon attack to the council?
I informed the High Warden of the attack, and she shooed me away.
Shoot you away?
They do not.
There's no reward for us then.
They do not believe that a demon attack just so happened to occur right outside the walls, even though I did provide them ample of evidence to prove such a thing.
Or did you speak of anything else?
I attempted to, but the wardens were about to conduct a meeting before I was able to direct the warden to any kind of conversation with any individual, I'm afraid.
I think we really need to speak to them.
I will be returning to the Citadel this evening. I'm sure I could, if there's no scheduled meetings, I could speak to the High Warden and arrange something for you, perhaps for the morning, and I will be able to send you a message if I'm successful. But for the time being, I'm afraid you're without.
It's of paramount importance that we speak to the warden.
Well, I will.
Whatever you can do.
After the business evening, I will make it my utmost priority to see if I can arrange a meeting for yourselves with the High Warden. But, please feel free to browse my wares if there's anything that catches your eye.
What does he have?
He has a load of magical trinkets and artifacts before him. Some of, from what you can assume, to maybe be his own creation.
I'm looking for something in particular.
Hmm.
We seem to have a slight scrying problem.
Oh. You don't like being watched, do you?
Not all the time. Not right now.
It's okay when I'm doing it.
Temple, you can't not watch.
That is accurate. I do not have eyelids, nor do I sleep.
Well, there's one thing that I can offer you. It is just very unfortunate that it won't work for the time being. Kind of leans over and pulls up a gold-plated amulet with a very large, well-cut ruby inset into the center of it. Places it on the stall and slides it over to you. This is an amulet of proof against detection and location. It does require you to attune to the item, but while wearing it, you are hidden from any kind of divination magic, and you can't be targeted by such magic or perceived through magical scrying sensors. So if anyone is trying to divine your location or scry on you, it won't work, as long as you're outside the city walls of Syngorn. These kind of artifacts have, unfortunately, are disabled while you're within the city walls, as the authority of Syngorn relies on scrying to be able to ascertain people who are breaking their laws. So while you're here in Syngorn,
We wouldn't do. Obviously.
oh no, of course not. No one would ever come to a city on the first day and break the law. I mean, why would anyone do that and do such a thing?
What exactly would stop the people we don't want scrying on us from doing the same thing that disables that ability while we're here in Syngorn?
Well, nothing outside of Syngorn can scry into the city walls. The Jade perimeter does prevent such divination magic from penetrating through, so you can scry on Syngorn itself and perhaps see the city from a distance, but scrying into Syngorn to perhaps find someone who's hiding, it wouldn't work.
Oh.
But from within the city, scrying magic, detection prevention is nullified, so that if you do break the law, if you're caught or suspected of doing something very nefarious, such as murder, as an example, and you are suspected, you will be scryed upon, you will be located, and you will be arrested.
Well, I'll look over to Coralina. That's at least one thing while we're here.
Yep. As long as it's outside the city walls, it'll work, so.
Is there anything else I can perhaps interest you in?
It's a amulet just works on individuals, or can it protect an entire group of us?
Well, it would feasibly, because the way divination magic tends to work is if you scry on an individual, it would only focus on said individual and prevent you from being able to be spotted. So if someone were to scry on your group, as an example, you would not be able to be seen by the scrying sensors, but your companions, I believe they would be able to. I haven't actually tested that kind of line of thought against an amulet such as this. That does require some further investigation.
Well, start. Best we've got so far.
Yes, would you like to proceed with the purchase of this item?
How much are you asking?
Oh, well, for something as, well, I wouldn't say as simple as this, it is quite an intricate piece of intricate enchantment that does prevent all of divination magic. I would say 2,500 gold pieces.
And should any of the others make a purchase? Could we negotiate?
If you would like to buy in bulk of several items combined together, I may be able to provide you a discount. After all, you did fend off several demons and keep me safe on our journey here. This is the least I could offer you.
I'm going to just sort of take a half a step back and just inspect this thing.
What have yourselves? Is there anything in particular that you are looking for? And I will say, even though it is not a recognized school of magic, as he kind of just gives you a glaring look, Coralina, my skills as an artificer does allow me to create magical items with magical properties. If there's not something that I have here, I'm sure I could get it for you in the next couple of days.
Well, based on what we've come to this town for, to the city, I should say, we very well could be here for a couple of days, so it's something worth considering.
I could do to boost my armor. I should have the other shop. But I'm a druid. You know, we don't wear armor. Have you got something that would just give me a bit more protection without actually adding, you know, shiny metal pieces to me?
I'm sure I could create something like a let me take a look. See here. And he kind of like reaches over and starts rummaging through a box. You can hear metal clinking off one another, and as he kind of rifles through, picks up a
spiked armor, and it rattles every time I'm trying to sneak. I've got metal and other spikes. They rattle and give them. You know what?
Unfortunately for that, you would have to go to a tanner or something that deals with leather armor, something that would be much more quieter for you. I don't deal with such a thing, I'm afraid. But this one here, no, not this one. Chucks it away and goes back rummaging in. This one here picks up it's very bland looking. It looks like a very simple silver band with a single like Celtic knot weave through it. This would do almost do the trick. Very simple enchantment based on it. It's a ring of protection. It will increase your AC by 1 as long as you are attuned to it. If you would like it a little bit more powerful, again, I could easily increase that to a +2, perhaps a +3. I've not really tried +3 enchantments myself as of yet, but I could most certainly give it a try and be able to get it to you within the next 28, 24, 48 hours.
Yep, we'll look for it tomorrow then.
Yes, absolutely. If that's what you would like me to do.
Yes.
Well, I will
That sounds good.
put that aside, and he opens and pops the ring into a small drawer. Ring of Protection, enchantment 3. What was your name again? Sorry.
Lord Neftari.
Lord Nethari. Is that Neth or Nef?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Neth.
Yes.
He kind of writes it down on a bit of paper and pops it in the drawer and closes it. Is there anything else that I can provide to you all? Any other items of interest? Something that you've really been interested in owning, but you've not really come across before? I might have it. I have a lot of different trinkets available.
Of course, something that completely makes it impossible for people to summon demons, no matter how hard they try. And something that kills demons that already exist. These sound very useful.
I may not be able to prevent demons from being summoned, as they are able to break their way through to the prime material by themselves, and I can't stop that, unfortunately. Plane hopping is very difficult to
You can
prevent.
do anything if you put your heart to it.
That may be true, but it would take some time. But there is something that I might be able to create for you. Something that, well, I wouldn't be able to kill demons instantly, but it may be able to make killing demons a little bit easier.
Well, this was a surprising turn of events.
I have a concept for a bracer that I may be able to put into action now that I've seen you fight. May I take your name, and I will try and get it done while I'm upgrading this ring of protection, and I will do my best to try and provide this
Well,
to
I
you.
don't quite know what the name given to me at my birth or creation was, but people call me Temple.
Temple.
Just Temple.
Because he was found in a temple. Isn't that right?
I guarded a temple, and I believe I was created for the purposes of protecting that temple.
Pops the opens the drawer and pops the paper inside of it. Well, I have my work set out for me for the next couple of days, and I will ask your other companion if she would like anything, but while she stays off into space.
It's more of like just surveying everything and be like, artificery. It's okay, it's passable, but it's for people that don't actually study. It's like if you're doing a book report and it's like, you know, you actually read the book versus, oh, the other guy got spark notes.
Be glad you didn't say that out loud.
Yeah.
But my fine wizard friend, what can I get for you, if anything at all? Maybe.
Well, I mean, if you want to give me a chance to look.
You've been standing there for the last few minutes. You have eyes. You could easily look.
Well, my school happens to be of conjuration, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I
just
will
looking to
refrain
see
from
if I can
commenting.
help.
Let me see here.
Probably like somebody bullshitting of like, ah, you got a creative writing degree. You have a degree in art.
Kind of leans over and picks up a small amulet. It's a it's a dark steel, a very almost a matte black metal that's then encrusted with what looks to be a obsidian glass gemstone in the center that he picks up and pops down before you. I understand, and I do apologize for the comments that I made before that about the conjuration being one of the weaker schools. But there's something here that might prove you to be a bit more prominent when it comes to your conjuration spells. This is what I call, it is of my own design, and something that is my amulet of the Master Summon. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, as a conjuration wizard, that you can potentially lose concentration on your summon, which may cause it to lose control. Maybe. This, it makes it much more likely to happen that you are a lot more likely to lose control of your summon. But the plus side of it is that your summons will be able to act almost instantaneously.
Sorry?
What was that? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Your summons would almost be able to act instantaneously. As it stands right now with this conjuration magic, withdrawing an elemental from its home plane, or conjuring a devil or a demon, the act of drawing such a creature from its home plane to the prime material is quite jarring, quite a debilitating sensory effect. One might call it summon sickness. They are drawn in and they're too fatigued to act when they first start. This negates that effect on your summons. However, as I've said, it vastly increases the likelihood that you would lose control of your summons. So from a mechanical standpoint for you, Kayla, this amulet of summon mastery will allow you to expend 2 spell slots to instantly summon an elemental again. However, at the start of every one of your turns, instead of it just being unless if you lose concentration, it means that you are still concentrating on the spell, but you must make a con save equal to your own DC in order to maintain control of your summon.
And the trade-off for that is?
It can instantly act. You summon something, and it will instantly be able to act instead of waiting a full round of combat before it can actually do anything. But there's a higher likelihood that you will be able to lose control of your summon.
Well, like, I don't technically, the only reason I would lose control over an elemental is if I fall unconscious.
Yeah, because you can't physically lose control from
taking damage.
Like taking damage. I'm aware of that. But this is an item that would, the downside to that, of course, like the way things are currently, is you have to wait your turn, like wait for a full round of initiative to go by before your elemental is even able to act, and it could potentially be destroyed by then because of the summoning sickness. This would allow you to instantly summon an elemental to your side and have them act straight away. I'm still tweaking it, so I don't think it'd be like your own DC. I think I'd make a DC for you to hit by the start of every round or every second round of combat. Again, I'm still tweaking it. You would make a save to maintain control of your summon. Again, it is something that I've been... it may not be perfect at the time for the time being. I'm still tweaking it, but if I can take your name and I will set it aside for you and make the final touches on it, and I'll be able to get it to you alongside the other components of your companion's items in the next hopefully 48 hours.
Orlina, that
Yes. Take everybody's names. The Warforged is biologically incapable of squinting.
Writes that down, pops it in the drawer. Well, is there anything else that I can assist you all with? Any other magic items that may take your fancy, or anything else that I might be able to assist you with?
Not for me. This looks interesting. It seems you have work to do. I'm going to place the amulet back down on the counter in front of him.
Mm-hmm. Takes it, pops open the door. Oh, would you like me to keep this aside for you?
Yes, if you would. I'm going to hand over 500 gold.
Down payment.
Deposit.
Yes.
If you would.
Absolutely. Can I take your name, please?
Already given you my name.
True. Write something down. Pops it into the drawer. Pops the amulet down. Slides it shut. Well, if that is everything for yourselves, then I would wish you a pleasant rest of your evening. After all, the ward does look like it is getting ready to close down. As you glance around, the time that you've actually spent, conversing and shopping, several hours have actually gone by. So it is getting quite late into the evening.
Is there anything around here, friend, that people do for recreation? Fine lake over there. Magnificent structures.
For one such as yourself, and your companions may enjoy it as well. The Reverie Walks is a very soothing place to go. It's a very relaxing environment that when one takes a stroll down, it's almost like going to sleep and dreaming while still being awake.
It's like my kind of place. Where can we find it?
Just head southeast. Points across to your southeast. Across that bridge there. Take your first right and head down the path to the Reverie Walks. You can't miss it.
And hypothetically, where would the heathens go if they wanted to go to, get drunk and the sort of bars where there's skimpily dressed ladies dancing? Just
you're looking for a brothel.
No. This city, everything just seems so.
Of course, a model for the skimpy armor I'll be creating for you.
No. I just mean there must be a rough side to this city somewhere. Sure, everywhere just seems so.
Syngorn here is under quite an iron fist from the Higher Warden, and any kind of crime or any nefarious acts are quelled immediately. So,
that's good to know, isn't it?
So, if you're looking for a place to have a good time, I would just turn around and head back to the inn that you came out of. Honestly, I'm sure you could speak to the tavern owner and apply for.
No, I'm not looking for anything like that. I was just curious. I mean, the city just seems so perfect. And
no city is without its flaws, but
there must every city has, a couple of streets where you wouldn't really want to go unattended.
And Syngorn is not one of those cities.
No crime at all here.
Oh, there's still crime, but it's just dealt with swiftly.
Well, I'm always in favour of a nice relaxing walk. Maybe a few ales to take with.
All right, so is that the plan, guys? You want to make your way to the southeast and head to the Reverie Walks?
I suppose so. And away from like anything resembling a brothel. You keep failing to find traps.
Yeah,
They're just right below your nose the entire time.
He's planted a seed there. Sorry.
All
I
right.
wasn't planning on going to a brothel, but you'll never know now.
Oh, no, I think I know you well enough to know exactly what you had in mind.
No, he just promised. This very morning, Neftari promised that he wouldn't hurt Corlina. So.
Yeah. Neftari has almost also promised to do a lot of things in the past, which promises have also been broken. So I think I know you as a person, David, and I think I know Neftari as a character well enough to know that what is said and what could have been done would be two very different things. But anyway.
All right, you take your pick of which one.
Anyway, though, with that, as you guys make your way to the southeast, cross a wide bridge with a single large tower adorned with the jade and emerald encrusted parapets and a rooftop. Sorry, I had to think for a second there. You make your way down the moonlight shining gently off of the lake before you, and as you take a right turn into the Reverie Walks, there is a single path that kind of disappears into almost unnatural fog before you. As you all step in, make your way through the mist into the Reverie Walks. That's where we'll end tonight's session.